Hello, welcome. My name is Mark Abadi and this is Mark's Minutes on Psychobiology or Psychophysiology. The essence of this is the understanding that your mind, your mental body, has an effect on your physical body and vice versa. So for example, if you've got a physical pain in your neck, there is a psychological mechanism that's attached to that. This is why we find that simply psychotherapy or talking therapy techniques are less effective than talking and manipulative techniques combined for any symptoms, whether they be psychological or physical in nature. So really, if you want to get to the crux of your problem, you really want to be looking both psychologically and physiologically at your issues. So take, for example, a sore neck. Now you might want to do acupressure on certain points here, and you might want to give a balancing system because according to, for example, Chinese medicine, there is reciprocal areas. This side of the shoulder is connected to the opposite side of the hip, vice versa. Same on this side to the opposite side. So there's reciprocal relationships which you might want to stimulate with acupressure. But a key point is our psyche, and even our psyche and our heart. But our psyche. It's very key that we start to explore and understand the connection between these two things. So I'll offer you some advice here. You have a physical problem. If you have a physical pain anywhere, I want you to go to that physical pain. I want you to harness it, take it, really feel it. Then I want you to ask the question, if it was an emotion, what emotion would it be? Pain here. What does it feel like? One girl today said, feels like anger. So, okay, interesting, feels like anger. Now, once you've got the emotion, once you've got the feeling, I want you to ask yourself, when was the first time you felt this feeling? When was the first time you remember this? You see, the whole aspect of life is we build our mansions, our houses, our skyscrapers upon foundations that were laid when we were very young. And these foundations are the cornerstones of our buildings. If they are weak in some way, then our foundation will make the building weak. And that's what we'll end up knowing. We'll get subsidence, and there'll be cracks all the way down the building. Oh, now you can paint up the cracks and fill in the cracks, but you've got subsidence. You have to fix the subsidence. So, the question to ask is, when was the first time you felt this emotion? And you go back to that point where the first time you felt this emotion. Now, you don't need to go into the details of the emotion, why it was happening, why this, why that, all this psychobabble bullshit. You don't need to go and analyse it. Just go there to the scene. Get the scene in your head. Young Mark sitting on the steps crying because he wasn't given something. He feels betrayed because his dad said he was going to take him to the park and didn't. Hypothetical, of course. Hypothetical. So, there's young Mark feeling betrayed. And that's the feeling that he identified in his neck, where it started hurting. And oh, what a coincidence. It seems to be, coinciding with the environment he's in at the moment. He's feeling betrayed. Oh, what a coincidence. It's almost as if everything's connected. Almost. So, go to the scene, little Mark sitting on the step crying. It hurts. Yes, it hurts. Breathe with it. Breathe into the umbilical breaths. We'll talk about that later. Look at Mark's Minutes on breathing and umbilical breath. Basically, you breathe into the stomach as low as you can. You breathe where you did when you were in your mum's tum, which wasn't through your mouth, was it? So it's full of fluid. No breathing there. It was through your umbilical cord. So, breathe in through that. Continuously watch the scene. Here's the thing. I want you to ask yourself, how big is the scene and how big are you? How big is the problem and how big are you in that scene? They're the questions I want to ask yourself. Usually the answers come back is, I'm very small, it's very big. Okay, fine. Now, I want you to keep watching that scene. You don't need to do anything, you don't need to interfere, you don't need to intervene, you don't need to fix it. Just watch. The simple process of watching will, like osmosis, will transfer some of your bigger space that you're looking from now, your man, you're grown up, you're adult, even if you're a teen, you're older in comparison to the younger, your bigger space will start to, like osmosis, infuse onto the area that's less. Because like the universe, big things always travel to small things to balance them and equalize them so that they're neutral. That's osmosis, that's why we have wind, that's why movement happens, is because the universe is constantly moving to a state of equilibrium. But it's constantly moving, so it's never in a state of equilibrium, never in a state of homeostasis, although in the bigger picture it is. So, the point here is just watch it and see what happens. As you watch it, the bigger space in you starts to move into the smaller space in the little you. And that scene will change automatically. You don't have to do anything. Just watch and be brave enough to breathe through the experience of it. It's brilliant. Watch it. It will move, it will morph, it will blend. As it moves, it morphs, it blends, and you're breathing through it. Your issue here will start to lift. Your foundations will start to be corrected. Your foundations will start to be corrected so that you can have a solid structure upon it. Yeah? Good. So, everything's connected to psychology, everything's connected to physiology. Both are interlaced. One without the other is like taking art without science. It's like taking man without woman. It's like taking the sun without the moon. It doesn't happen. It can't. Be holistic. Look both aspects of everything. The yin and the yang of everything. Until next time, thanks for listening.